Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where professionals in the field educate, inform and inspire the community to live a healthier and more balanced lifestyle they love. Our first guest today is mindset coach Sharee Shefket, and we'll be discussing how to reprogram your mindset to live a healthier life. Welcome, Sharee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So my first question, is it actually possible to reprogram your mindset?
And it's a little bit of a mysterious thing, I find. A lot of people think they cannot. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you are the product of who you are. But you can definitely change your mindset through programming. So the first thing I guess we need to look at is what is programming in itself. So what they say is, show me a child at the age of 7 and I'll show you the man. Because from 0 to 7, all the programming is getting downloaded, like you're downloading an app. So what happens is that when a child is 7, you could actually see in terms of their behaviours, their personality, it's kind of set. But what happens as they grow up, things that happen in their life will either support the programming or it will start changing in certain ways. So if a child is told that they're quite funny, for instance, then the subconscious mind, every time they do something funny, the subconscious will see, you're funny, told you were, and that will be formed in terms of their programming. And that's how they see themselves. And so what happens is when we get older, we have this thing of, this is who I am. I'm an old dog, I can't learn new tricks, yeah? And this is such a false assumption. We can reprogram ourselves. It's tricky to do. It's not easy. I'm going to be honest there, but it's possible. And it's difficult because the subconscious mind, so we've got the two minds, we've got the subconscious and the subconscious. The subconscious mind, look at it as the size of an elephant. Mm-hmm. The conscious mind is the size of an ant. So that's the size and the power difference between the two. So right now, your conscious mind is listening to me. And what's going to happen is that you're concentrating on what we're talking about, but your subconscious is already planning about what it's going to do next and so forth. And it's a bit like we need program because it's our autopilot life. So for instance, when we finish here, your subconscious mind already knows what it needs to do. You don't think about it. So I'll give you an example. When you get out of bed, do you get out on your left side or your right side? You don't think about it. You just get up and what do you do first? Do you go to the bathroom? Do you brush your teeth? Whatever you do, your conscious mind doesn't think about what it's going to do. Your subconscious already programmed it. So what's, I think, quite astounding to me is that 95 to 98% of your day, your subconscious is running the show. For someone to reprogram that, it's not easy. So we have to undo that programming.
So what is the process of reprogramming your mindset?
So the process is a little bit complex. I'm going to be honest there, because the subconscious, as mentioned before, is very powerful. It's in control. And like I said, it's the size of an elephant. Your conscious mind is the size of an ant. So if the ant says, oh, I want to make these changes, the elephant's like, it's not happening. I'm not going to change. So we need to get the subconscious on board. And so the subconscious learns through repetition. So if we keep repeating something, the subconscious will eventually accept that new program. But sometimes it could be really stubborn. Let's be honest as well. It could say, no, I really don't like that. I really don't want to change it. It's going to take even longer for that person to make those changes. That's why I think you have to look at your programming first. So we need to keep some of the programming. It benefits us. So for example, when you drove here, did you ever think about where you need to go? You just arrived here. Your subconscious was actually driving the car. But when you're learning to drive, your conscious mind is driving. It's trying to work out how to do a head check, seatbelt. It's concentrating so much. When I ask people about multitasking, like you can't multitask when you've got to do something that requires your conscious mind to do it Make sense? So your conscious mind is so small compared to your subconscious. It has limited capabilities. If your subconscious is driving the car, your conscious mind can have a conversation with the passenger. You could do that. But if you're learning to drive, your conscious mind is concentrating really hard on driving, it's not going to be able to have a conversation, and that's where accidents can happen because your conscious mind is quite overwhelmed now. It's like trying to concentrate on that conversation and concentrate on the road at the same time.
What's the benefit of reprogramming your mindset?
Because we can. That's the biggest one, because we thought we couldn't. That was the biggest myth that I found, that people were like, well, I am 50 years old now. This is who I am. I'm fixed. That fixed mindset, we can change that. So if you want to be healthy, what does that mean for you? Let's define that. What does healthy mean to you? Is it, I want to walk, I want to eat healthier? What is it you want to change? And how are we going to break the unhealthy programming to reinstate the new programming? So it's about that growth mindset and changing that.
And so then what advice would you give to people who want to reprogram their mindset?
Look, if you could find a therapist, that's the best way does change work in terms of neuroplasticity. That would be the most beneficial and the most easiest process, because they will give the tools and techniques, and we usually work with the subconscious instead of the talk therapy, and that's why the results are a lot more faster. If you want to do it yourself, like I said, you have to look at your programming first and see what you need to change and interject as much as possible so the subconscious mind is reframed into the new skill that you want to do or the new habit. So you can use tools like different apps, your phone. You can have post-it notes where you're stopping the programming to take over. So what will happen, like I said, your programming is that set where when we leave this place right now, your subconscious mind will take over the autopilot and you won't even think about what you need to do. It's just running the show all the time. So it's very hard to change that.
Thank you, Sharee, for your great advice and information. If you'd like to know more about how to reprogram your mindset and more about the work Sharee does, you can visit her webpage via our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. After the break, we'll be back with another interesting guest and more insightful conversation.
Stay tuned. After the break, Sue Williams, Doctor of Quantum Counselling and Clinical Hypnotherapist, will be talking about, could epigenetics be the key for athletes, people in business, and everyone to health and success? Welcome back. Our next guest, Sue Williams, is a Doctor of Quantum Counselling and a clinical hypnotherapist, and the topic we'll be discussing is, can epigenetics be the key for peak performance in athletics, business, and our everyday lives? Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sue, may you explain a little bit more about epigenetics?
It's becoming a little bit more well known, but a lot of people have never heard of it. So it is based on your genes, like you have a genetic sequence in your DNA. But we have the epigenetic, which is actually something that we can change. It's all to do with switching on and off the genes in our DNA sequence. So the DNA itself doesn't change. The actual genes that are on the DNA strand are the same, but we can turn them on and off. Unconsciously, it can happen to us by our environment, by our thoughts, because our thoughts control our physical being. If we live in a very built-up area and we're breathing in car fumes all day, if we're near factories, we're breathing in the toxins from the factories. Of course, there are regulations now so that these things aren't as bad as they used to be. They tend to build up over time, which is a problem. That affects our genetic makeup a lot. And the great thing about epigenetics is that we can change that genes, whether they're turned on or off, which affects our health, our well-being, our reality.
Why is it the key to our health and success?
It's because we are in control. We don't have to be seeking outside assistance. We can start with ourselves. We can do the things that are going to improve our wellness. And that can start with our diet. If we choose organic produce rather than produce that's potentially been sprayed with pesticides, growth hormones, that type of thing. If we can go back to as natural a diet as possible, and that doesn't mean excluding meat, because you can get responsibly sourced protein in a number of ways, including meat. You just have to look for it a bit harder. Unfortunately, it is a bit more expensive because it's not mass-produced. But not mass-produced can often indicate that it's going to be a lot better for us because it's done in smaller batches with more care. So that's one easy way. Another way is to remove heavy metals from our system, because they can have a real impact on the way our cells operate. They interrupt the natural flow, the natural development of our cells. And if we look back into earlier times when a lot of the older houses had lead paint, we know the damage that was done to young kids who were exposed to lead and the mercury in the fish. So this isn't new. This is something that's been happening for a long time and research has been done into it. But now we're fortunate that we can purchase the heavy metal test kits. And once you've found out what the heavy metals are in your body, you can use natural substances like zeolite, and there are plenty of supplements out there that you can purchase, and rid yourself of these toxins. So that's a really good step forward. Drinking purified water, because these days there's so many impurities in our tap water. I would say don't turn to plastic single-use bottles, but buy a processing machine for your house. Even those bottles and jugs that purify the water, they're going to be so much better than you drinking the straight tap water, and a lot kinder on the environment than relying on plastic bottles. But this is all proactive stuff that we can do for ourselves. And by improving the way we live, then we improve the way our genetics work as well.
That's really interesting, Sue. Do you have any advice for our viewers going forward?
Yes, and the amazing thing is that when we're dealing with epigenetics, we can do it all ourselves. We can change our diet so that it's a better diet, less processed, and it's all this sort of thing is in line with what we do to try and stay healthy anyway. But if you do the testing to get rid of the heavy metals, improve your diet, improve your exercise, because that will improve your whole body well-being. So, and by doing that without even realising it, we're improving the way our genetic code works. And we can overcome these diseases that are passed down from generation to generation, like cancer, type 2 diabetes, heart disease. You'll see families that you've got generation after generation that have had this problem. It's caused by which of the genes is switched on and off. Improve your lifestyle, improve your health, and you have every opportunity of changing that, and you'll be the one that stops it. And if you're young enough, you'll be able to pass on this new genetic code, the way it's switched on and off, to your kids. And that's the amazing thing, that you can be the person who's changing, making the change for the people in your family, your downline, if we can call it that. But again, there are plenty of experts out there. If you need help at all with changing your diet, with changing your exercise regime, just look for experts in particular fields and get them to start helping you. And then once you are on that track, your body feels so much better that you really just want to keep doing it. you can break out every now and then, because if it's a very strictly regimented life that you lead, then you're probably not going to be as joyful as you want to be. So you can still include those naughty things every now and then. You can have a glass of wine. You can have that chocolate if you really need to. But it's looking at the big picture. How do I live my life? I try and avoid the toxins. I try and have a good diet. I keep the exercise going. And that's more important as you get older. Just keep that exercise as much as you can. And you'll be the creator of your destiny and the destiny of your kids and your grandkids.
Thanks, Sue. That's such valuable information to follow. If you'd like to know more about Sue Williams and the effects of epigenetics in peak performance in business, athletics and everyday life and success, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll have another interesting guest with another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, Lifestyle GP Dr Avi Charlton will be talking about the health benefits of functional breathing. Welcome back. Our last guest today is Lifestyle GP Dr Avi Charlton, and we will be talking about the health benefits of functional breathing. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again, Stephanie.
Dr Avi, what is functional breathing and what are the health benefits of it?
To understand functional breathing, we've got to understand dysfunctional breathing. Dysfunctional breathing means not breathing properly. What happens is if we don't breathe properly, we can get more anxious. We suffer from palpitations. And if we use our mouth to breathe a lot, then we yawn a lot and we feel like we need to take big breaths all the time. We feel like we're not getting enough air. We feel short of breath. What happens when people don't breathe properly is they might not sleep properly as well. Sometimes some people snore and then they use their mouth for breathing rather than the nose for breathing. Then they don't sleep well. They wake up not having enough energy and it becomes a vicious cycle. Then they don't breathe well during the day. They feel like they're short of breath. They feel anxious and they don't have enough energy to perform in the day-to-day activities.
How can our viewers use breathing to improve their health?
So there's a few little things and then there's a few breathing exercises that we can do. What we can do is we can practice breathing light, breathing slow, and breathing deep. So I'll elaborate each tip. Breathing light means we don't take big, huge breaths all the time, and practicing breathing less amplitude breathing, light breathing. What that can do is that can tell your body to hold more carbon dioxide, and there's a little bit of science to it that it actually tells your oxygen to get into your body, the brain, the muscles more. So light breathing improves our carbon dioxide tolerance. Deep breathing means we practice breathing into the diaphragm. What we can do is we can practice getting our hands to feel our rib cage. If we breathe into our rib cage, our ribs will come out and then our belly will go out. As we breathe out, our rib cage will go in and our belly will go in. So we practice deep breathing into our diaphragm as feeling our rib cage go out. So there's breathing light, breathing deep, and breathing slow. So what we can do is we can practice slowing down our breathing. We can do breathing exercises that involve slowing down. If you're new to this, you can do counts, breathing in for 3 and out for 3, breathing exercises. Then if you get better at it, you can breathe in for 4, out for 4, or even in for 5 and building up to as long as you can, as you tolerate on breathing exercises. Then there's breath holding exercises that you can slowly incorporate into your life. There's a technique called box breathing. Box breathing means that you take a breath in for 4 counts, and then hold for 4 counts, and then out for 4 counts, and then hold again for 4 counts. And then if you can do 4 counts, you can increase it to 5 counts or even 6 counts. This technique is used by the Navy SEALs to slow down their anxiety, calm them down, and that can improve their mental health. That helps to improve our breathing and reduce anxiety, improve our well-being as well. Then there's lots of other breath holding exercises that we can practice. Let's say you're going out for a walk, you can do some breath holding. If you're new at it, you can hold, pinching your nose for 10 steps, and then you can release and walk 10 steps. Then you can repeat it again 5 or 6 times, doing breath holding exercises. As you get better, you can increase it to 15 steps or even 20 steps. Then that helps to tell our body that we can hold on to carbon dioxide more. Then your body can learn to tolerate higher carbon dioxides. That actually gets your body, your muscles, and your brain to have more oxygen delivered. That in turn improve your mental health, improve cognition, and you function better. The more we breathe through your nose, the more you breathe through your nose at night when you're sleeping as well. We also talk about using mouth tape to tape your mouth so you don't breathe through your mouth at night, especially for those who don't know if you're breathing through your mouth at night. And some people worry about that they will suffocate if they're breathing through, if they have their mouth taped. There are lots of different mouth tapes. Some of them have a little slit that doesn't cover their mouth, and that might help you to get used to a mouth tape and practice breathing more nose breathing. In turn, that can help with better sleep and better function during the day. With children, what happens if the children breathing through their mouth is they can get facial development problems. If they breathe through their mouth too much, the jaw development isn't quite right, and they can get facial development problems, receding jaws, and they're more likely to need orthodontic treatment, braces. So what parents can do is they can remind their children to breathe through the nose more often, all the time, and even at night they can mouth tape the kids. They might have to get used to it, and you can get special mouth tapes that has a slit in the middle. And there are exercises called buteyko exercises that their mothers can do games with the children, practice more nose breathing and even breath holding. What I suggest is people can seek help with professionals who are trained in breath work and breathing exercises, who talk about how to breathe functionally. So we can get the right guidance to talk about functional breathing, get the right exercises for breath work. In that way, you can get the right advice on how to breathe properly.
Great. I'm going to be checking my breath for the rest of the day.
That's great.
Thank you for that information.
Thank you, Stephanie.
If you would like to know more about functional breathing and Dr. Avi Charlton, please visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. That's all we have time for today. Goodbye until next week.
If you'd like to know more about our show, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.